The Republican Party is having another Todd Akin fiasco. In 2012, Senator Claire McCaskill, then an underdog, handily defended her Missouri seat against her Republican opponent, Todd Akin, thanks to a combination of political gamesmanship and Akin's own overt sexism. In her memoir, she recalled how she'd spent millions to ensure Akin was nominated over a more moderate Republican, writing, "Getting Todd Akin as the opponent in the long run made it more likely that Missourians would not be represented by someone who held those extreme views. This time around McCaskill's race will be one of the country's most contentious. Donald Trump won Missouri by almost 20 points in 2016. But in choosing its frontrunner, the GOP may have handed her an unintended gift, potentially blowing its edge and forfeiting a much-needed seat." The runaway Republican favorite is Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley, who, during a speech to pastors at an event last December, drew a link between sex trafficking and the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. "We have a human trafficking crisis in our state and in this city and in our country because people are willing to purchase women, young women, and treat them like commodities," he told the audience, according to audio obtained by the Kansas City Star. "There is a market for it. Why is there? Because our culture has completely lost its way. The sexual revolution has led to exploitation of women on a scale that we would never have imagined, never have imagined." He went on, "We must deliver a message to our culture that the false gospel of anything goes ends in this road of slavery. It ends in the slavery and the exploitation of the most vulnerable among us. It ends in the slavery and exploitation of young women." When asked for comment by the Star, Hawley's team put out a statement confirming that, yes, the candidate believes those things, despite the fact that sex trafficking has existed since the dawn of recorded history. "Let's get serious. Sex trafficking is driven by male demand and the subjugation of women," campaign spokeswoman Kelly Ford said. In the 1960s and 70s, it became okay for Hollywood and the media to treat women as objects for male gratification. And that demeaning view of women has helped fuel harassment, inequality, and yes, sex trafficking. Kimberly Melman Orozco, a human trafficking expert, told the Star there is absolutely no empirical evidence or research to suggest there was any uptick in human trafficking in the 1960s or 70s, or that that's when it started. Hawley's comments could be considered tame compared to those of Cortland Sykes, another Republican candidate for Senate in Missouri. In a Facebook screed posted last week, Sykes called feminist and career-minded women she-devils with snake-filled heads, and said he hoped that his daughters would become homemakers who'd serve their husbands home-cooked dinners at 6 every night. It's so far unclear whether Hawley's comments caused him to sink in the polls, but his extremist views harken back to those of Roy Moore, who won his primary against a more moderate candidate, but ultimately lost to a Democrat. Both Moore and Hawley neatly embody the problem facing Republicans as they gear up for midterms. In order to withstand Democrats' anticipated blue wave, which will no doubt be bolstered by a wildly unpopular president, they must primary candidates with broad appeal. It would also be great if GOP Senate candidates could stop writing Claire's attack ads and fundraising emails for her, said Austin Peterson, a member of the Libertarian Party also running in the primary. These comments do nothing but foster a Todd Akin-style culture war that the GOP will lose to a formidable female incumbent. Peterson, it should be said, has also openly questioned whether passengers should be legally required to wear seat belts, making his position as the party's voice of reason all the more remarkable. As with Moore, Hawley's remarks may also hurt his standing with a voting bloc that proved crucial to Trump's victory, women. The GOP has long struggled to attract women, both to its ranks and on election day, and Trump, to put it mildly, has done nothing to help the situation. Should Trump's coalition of white suburban women find itself repelled by GOP candidates' sexist comments and begin to lean blue, Republicans across the country will be faced with, as Axios' Mike Allen put it, a massive math problem. Follow to get the latest news and analysis about the players in your inbox.